Rebellion. Sometimes this is called also the First War for Independence with India. Who the sepoys were is these were South Asian people, okay? So they're native Indian people that the British trained into their military, okay? So a lot of Indians felt that they were kind of traitors because they were working for the British. Well, ultimately, the sepoys see the injustice, the discrepancy, the disparity between the classes, you know, with the British being at the top and obviously the Indians being at the bottom. Gentlemen, knock it off. And they revolt and rebel, okay? And they actually took a lot of territory away from the British before finally they were put down. But it kind of starts the ball rolling, so to speak. All right, so we've got our Taiping Rebellion. 1853, Commodore Perry into Japan. We also have 1856 to 64 is Opium War II. Uh, 1869 is the Suez Canal. And the British control Egypt.
What happened in Opium War II?
Oh, they lost again. Yeah, got their butts handed to them. And then pretty much at this point in time, this is where you now have the French and the British actually occupying China. Okay, so the French and the British stay, which ticks off the Chinese. And then that then subsequently then leads to our Boxer Rebellion, where we kill all of the missionaries, all the Christians they can find.
With what we do with Japan, do we consider that like the open door policy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 1868 is the technical beginning of the Meiji Restoration, where we've got westernization, and industrialization in China happening at a rapid, yeah, in Japan, sorry. Industrialization, sorry, I can't write and talk and think all at the same time. All right, questions so far? All right, let's keep going. All right, let's go now, 1860s back in Europe. This is where we see women starting to complain about how they've historically sucked.
Finally?
Finally, women decide to get a voice. So we've got women's movement increase. Oh, don't forget up here with the French Declaration of the Rights of Man, you also have Wollstonecraft too. Remember, she wrote the women's rights, the Declaration of the Women's Rights of Man. Let's see, we also, at this point in time, due to IPPI's BFF, we start to see labor unions. Labor unions form. We also see the ideas of social Darwinism, which has nothing to do with Charles Darwin's theory. You've got the ideas of, Rudyard Kipling and the White Man's Burden that we read is a really good example of this.
Okay, is that supposed to be sarcastic or is he being serious?
No, he is dead serious in that
Oh,
poem.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Like I can't tell.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, no, dead
'Cause
seriously.
it sounds like one person.
No, it was all of, and the whole thing that he wrote it was this whole idea of after the Spanish-American War, he was kind of like praising the Americans and their treatment of the Mexicans and that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's actually dead serious.
I
It's
just
not
read an
a,
article the other day debating whether he was being serious or not.
yeah. Everything I've read is that he was pretty much being serious as far as that goes. Especially given the fact that he grew up in British India and saw, you know, that kind of thing. Like, I've never really heard that it's like a social commentary to speak out against these things, that this is more the way things are.
Maybe he faked it.
And even if he meant it sarcastically, it wasn't taken that way. It was taken totally serious at the time, you know, and used by guys like Cecil Rhodes and things like that.
I like to think it's sarcastic, because it's funny.
If that helps you sleep at night, sweetie, go ahead. All right, 1888, the British outlaw slavery altogether. Or no, wait, not Britain, Brazil. That's the last. Sorry.
That's a big
It's on there.
Yeah, I know, big difference. All right, so 1888, Brazil outlaw slavery. That's the last one. So the British are the first, the Brazilians are actually the last. We start to, at this point in time, in the US, we see assembly production, like assembly lines forming. And interchangeable parts. We also, at 1900, it's technically 1904 to 1914, is the Panama Canal. All right. 1884 is our Berlin Conference and our scramble for Africa.
If only I'd been in charge of Spain at the time.
What?
I said only if I was in charge of Spain at
Only
the
if you
time.
were in charge of
We
Spain.
would have dominated the Britain sailed.
1897 is a guy by the name of Theodore Herzl, and he begins and actually coins the term of Zionism, which is the creation of a Jewish homeland, okay? Because remember, at this point in time, you've got, in Russia, you've got the pogroms going on for the Jews, all right? And so this is kind of in response to that. Let's see, in the end you have some of these Tanzimat reforms. Oh my gosh, I can't. I need to look up the date, but because I don't remember it. Tanzimat reforms, but they're too little, too late. And they're all about kind of trying to westernize. Which then leads to the whole ideas of Al-Wahhab. I can't remember if it's two H's or two B's. It's either two H's or two B's, but Wahhabism. This kind of social conservative Islamic movement is what you see in here. Alright. We also start to get towards the end here is where we get our Young Turks really starting to make an appearance. In India, okay, we have the formation of what's called the Indian National Congress.